Okay, so we are live. Good afternoon, everyone. A warm welcome to all our students and parents. And thank you for joining us today for another weekly career class. Today we have with us Miss Varsha Rebello, who is a senior career counselor and expert here at iDream Career. She has over 20 years of experience in guiding and mentoring students when it comes to their careers. And today she will be talking to us about a very important topic, which is how do we go about selecting subjects when a student is in class 9th or 10th? And this selection would be, of course, for their higher studies or plus two. So welcome, Ms. Varsha. We will also be having a Q&A session at the end. So I'd encourage all of you to please post your queries or any doubts you have in the chat box. We will definitely take them at the end. Welcome again, ma'am, and over to you.
Thank you, Samarth, and a very warm welcome to everyone. Thanks for joining in. And it's an absolute pleasure to be here to talk with you, students and parents, to understand the importance and the process of subject and stream selection for class 11th and 12th. It's honestly a very anxious time for those who have given up their 10th grade right now, waiting for the results. Exam just got over. Uh, some of the exams stretched for a really long time. Some of the students have finished their exams and got their results already. So it's just that, students are going through different phases of anxiety. The students who are in 9th, gone to 10, are also now anxious about 10th standard, board exams coming up, lots of things happening in your life. And the last 2 years in the pandemic have not been really great for the student community. The teachers have really stretched out to make learning a joyful experience for you, but the platforms changed and a lot of things changed with that. So we need to put a little more effort into studying. We need to put a little more thought process in making our choices of what we want to do after class 10. And one of the best ways to go about is to do a little bit of exploration and research about it also. So, what are the factors that we should be looking at when we are making such informed choices? Let us run through this and we come to question answers at the end of it. So, like Samad said, don't be backward in asking your questions. If you want the answers, you need to ask the questions. So, I'm going to start with trying to help understand what is iDream Careers. Then we're going to talk about the importance of career guidance, how subject and stream selection process happens, and how we can help you with that. So, iDream Career is a platform which reaches out to students for career counseling. We've been touching base with around 73,000 schools in 9 states. Now, that's a huge number, 15.1 million students that have reached out to iDream Career. iDream Career has reached out to them through various mediums. We have impacted 50,000 plus students in 2019-20 itself with our CSR and NGO partners. We are a team of 1,000 plus certified career counselors across 105 districts. That should tell you that at any part of the country that you go, you're sure to find an iDream career counselor there. The platform has a lot of information. We have career content, which is around 1,057 hours of career content. And the beauty of it is that it is in 6 regional languages. So sometimes it happens that, parents are more comfortable in a regional language and they relate better to that because their understanding of it is a little better. Hence, we have put it in regional languages so that parents who are an important part of decision-making process for a child too can get that understanding and help their children make the choices. We speak about professional careers and vocational careers. We speak of about 570 careers on our platform. 21,000 institutes, 262,000 programs, entrance exams, 1,150 entrance exams, whole lot of scholarships that are there. And this is not limited only to India. We talk of 16 countries in the world where you can actually connect with the college websites directly from the platform of iDream Careers. It's a it's a place which is one place information for everything to do with careers. These are some of the private schools with whom we have been partnering. and helping their students with making career choices. So if you see, these are some of the top schools of the country, and iDream Career has been a part of it for a number of years. These are some of the government partnerships that we have. We are partnering with almost 15 state governments. So that means that career counseling reaches to everyone. That is the whole intent, that every child should get access to career counseling. And that's what we do through the government partnerships that we have. The nonprofit and CSR partners that we work with are listed over here. And you can see a whole bunch of people who feel through their organizations they would want to help students. UNICEF, Bharti, Uber, Central Square Foundation, UNDP, Shivnadar Foundation. All of them are in some way or the other connected to helping students make choices, and they want to partner with iDream Career for the same. Now, coming to the very important question, why do we need career guidance? And since yours is a generation that is data driven and you understand, want to speak in facts and figures, we're going to talk of some facts and figures here. 1 out of 50,000 students receives career guidance. And if you're receiving it, consider yourself absolutely privileged because it is not something that everyone gets. Coming to the next data, which says 50% of MBBS students want to opt out midway. This is from the Deccan Herald, April 2020. Want to opt out does not mean they opted out, but somewhere in their journey of medical career, they felt that this is something I don't want to do. Why? Could be any reason. But you and me know the effort that goes in getting into a medical school. And then to feel that I do not want to continue this. We really need to think through seriously as to what could have happened for the child to come to some sort of such a thought process. The next one says 2,400 students dropped out from IITs. This is from the print 2019. And these students dropped out of IITs. They got admission into prestigious institutes to study engineering, and they just felt they did not want to do that anymore. Think through what could be the reason. Why is it that after getting into a prestigious institute, I do not want to continue? And the best one out of three professionals in India are career sleepwalking. Now, what is career sleepwalking? Well, people who have finished their education and have got into a job, after they start working, somewhere along the line, they feel this is something I do not want to do. This is not the kind of job that I want to do. And then the thought process starts that one, I do not want to do this, but do I know what I want to do? And then starts the exploration, the introspection, the research, try to understand what is it that I would love to do. But I cannot leave the job that I have taken. So I will continue with the job that I have got. I have an education qualification which has given me this job. We also need to earn money. So the person continues with the job, waiting, thinking, trying to understand where is it that I'm going to be happy? Where is it that I feel this is what I want to do? Such kind of uh, thought, such kind of situations, which makes us wonder why is it that students, after they have gone through a process of getting into a particular course or gone through a course and come into a job scene, feel that this is where I don't want to be. And one of the primary reasons for it is that careers are too often chosen basic only one factor, that is academic aptitude. Academic aptitude. And academic aptitude is something that you see in your report card. And on the basis of that, that's the best way that students look at saying, okay, this is what it is, and I would like to do this, because you can see some score on a piece of paper that says you can study this subject. Is that the only way that we make choices about what we want to do? Is that the only way we think about the subjects that we want to take? Well, I think there is a deeper process that is there that needs to be understood as to how we want to make our career choices. So how can we understand what careers we want to get into? One way of looking at it is to look at a problem and then see what is the scope that I take a career which is related to this problem. What is the scope for it? Now, Here you can see that there are four problems which are universal problems. These are not problems related to our country, these are global problems. And if I see a problem like hunger, I can actually think that maybe a chef can make a difference, maybe an agriculturalist, a food tech and nutrition person, journalism, public policy. Ah, that means we need to look at careers in a different way. And if I look at waste as a problem, I see that some changes could happen if an environmentalist starts thinking about it. An economist, environmental laws are changed. We have public policies in place regarding to this problem, anthropology, sustainability. Now we are talking about careers which we can relate to and we can understand how they become important. And if we talk about pollution as a problem, and an automobile and a petroleum engineer would be able to help us with that, as would an environmental engineer, and public policies need to be in place for the same, as the law needs to be stringent about it. And a very, very grave problem of safety for everyone, where laws need to be absolutely stringent. Anthropology, psychology, journalism, education, self defense, all of it becomes very, very relevant, very, very important. And there are right now on the screen, there are just four problems that are mentioned, but we know that there are so many more beyond this. And now, when you start thinking, you realize, yes, with everything that I see around me as a problem, there could be so many careers which could be a solution to the problem that is there. And if you look at it, there's a common thread that runs here which says public policy. And what is public policy about? So, public policy is a subject that is studied in the stream of humanities. And unless policies are put in place and they are followed through, everything else will start crumbling down. It's a very essential factor. Why am I emphasizing on this? Because very often there is a thought process that happens with students and parents that every career needs to be science oriented. Well, science is important. And as important as science is commerce and is humanities and everything else that we study. So every subject is important. And we need to understand what subjects I am comfortable with and how do I go about making a choice about those subjects. So start looking at careers a little differently. And if we look at it in the future as to what is going to come, and this is not the distant future, this is the future with one step in the door. So if you look at commerce, what is happening with commerce? You have all of us now are into e-ticketing. None of us get into a line, start there and book our tickets for anything that we do, whether we want to see a movie or we want to travel. Uh, Everything is gone onto the e-commerce platforms. E-ticketing is happening. Cryptocurrencies, though not legal in India, yes, there are still a lot of people who are trading in cryptocurrencies. Net banking and data security. Physical transaction of cash is reduced to the minimum. Smart money management. So many things that have changed when it comes to the finance sector, to the commerce sector. If you look at the design, retail, and construction sector, what do we see? That I never imagined I would see a building which was done of 3D printing. It looked like a distant dream to me. And again, it looked like something that would happen not in my country, where I was sadly mistaken when there was a 3D building constructed and set up, and it just took a couple of days to put that building up. And wow, that was fantastic. Localized manufacturing, that is something that's been very unique in India. And sadly, over the years, we forgot that and we started looking at getting things from other countries and importing things for the local setup. Local things work best in the local area, and that is getting back into importance. Local manufacturing is getting absolute importance. The designs are getting better because you have the AI inputs coming into it. That does not reduce the importance or value of the creativity of the designer. It just enhances it. Health sciences, if you look at health sciences, robotic surgeries, again, the first time I looked at a robotic surgery video, I could not believe it that something like this could be really happening. But it really happens, and it's quite common these days for robotic surgeries to happen. Pharmacies are getting automated, smart medicines, lot of medical changes that are happening. Health monitoring, I think we experienced health monitoring to the core in the last 2 years when the government systems start working in a synchronized manner to make sure that the pandemic was controlled to a large extent. And we have to credit where the credit is. At least the place where I stay, I come from Mumbai, and we had a fantastic system that was working for us over here. And I think in many parts of the country, that is what was happening. So we've actually experienced the greatness of great health monitoring. Prosthetics is something that was, you know, a bulky, huge thing that was attached to the part where you had an amputated foot or an amputated hand, and they were really bulky and cumbersome and painful, nothing great to look at. And if you look at the prosthetics today, it's very, very difficult even to make out that it's an artificial limb that's put up there. They are almost on the verge of doing the function of the original organ. That is how health sciences and prosthetics have grown leaps and bounds over a period of time. And 3D printed organs, again, a reality. 3D printed organs put in human bodies, also, again, a reality. So, fantastic, phenomenal changes that are there. Transportation, and the moment you say transportation, your generation talks of self driven cars. Again, a reality. It is there and it is going around. Well, it's going around in India also. And then with that, what needs to be changed also is the entire concept of vehicle insurance, entire concept of autonomous safety. Because if there is no driver in the car, how do you hold somebody responsible in case there is a mishap? So many things that change when you have one new thing introduced. And with this future that is coming in, we are going to need people who look at all these kind of aspects, who have studied such kind of areas, done specialization courses in that, and coming to give it back to the public. So our future is going to be absolutely great with you youngsters looking at a wide range of career opportunities that are there for you. So don't think in the very traditional way. Careers are changing dynamically, and you need to be able to think through that process as to what is it that I'm good at, what is it that I would want to do, how do I go about this entire process. And we are here today to understand something a little more. Now, along with academics, there are so many other things that need to be done. Academics is one part. What is very unique for your generation is that along with academics, there are so many other things that you would need to be working on in the uh, time frame of when you're working for studying for your educational qualifications to get completed. So in your 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 7 years of education that you would be taking, certain skills that you would need to learn. One of that, and the most crucial one, I personally feel, is the skill of learning time management, and time management for competitive exams, and time management as a general routine of your life is absolutely important. Uh, what I've come across is that a lot of students get into time management once their exam timetable comes up. And then, it's like very conscious effort of trying to be very, very time conscious. But I think it should be a part of your life, managing your time, because that is the one factor that's common for everyone, 24 hours in a day. Then why is it that there are some people who are so productive in 24 hours and some who really find it challenging to get their daily jobs done in 24 hours? The secret lies in time management. The earlier you learn it, the better for you. Competitive exams will really push you to the core in managing your time. General knowledge is not something that you get a couple of days before the entrance examination. It has to be an ongoing process. And the best way to do that is to read. Currently, what we're hearing is that reading is something that students don't do. They just read their textbooks and nothing beyond that. But that would be the way to get the information that you need. Read, read. Group discussions are now a part of the admission process in most of the prestigious institutes. So get into the habit of getting into healthy discussions about things. When your schools and colleges are having debates, try to be a part of the debate. It's a great learning process. You would need to build your resumes over the period of time when you're doing your academics. You would need to learn the skill of giving interviews, because these are the things that are going to be asked at the end of it when you've got your academic qualification. What more do you have is something that's going to be asked. And it is something that you would have done over a period of time when you're studying in college. So that is the value add that you have given to yourself when you have been educating yourself. And that's what you would put on your resume. So if you've done it, you can put it. That means the day you can start doing something more with your academics, please start doing it. And there are many, many ways of doing that. Talk to professionals. Very, very important. And all of us have somebody around us who is into a different profession, is doing something that you may want to do, has some experience in an industry you want to get into. Talk to those uncle, aunties, didi, bhaiyas, whoever they are, so that you get an insight into what is it that this person does. What did he study? How was his journey? What has been the job scenario? What's the kind of money you're earning? And believe me, people are more than willing to share their experiences. It's just that you need to ask the questions. Take virtual tours of careers and colleges. All colleges have excellent virtual tours on their websites. And you can do that journey, and you can also do a physical journey if you're in some part of the country where there's a college and somewhere you have an aspiration that maybe this could be one of the colleges I want to explore. Well, you're gone there, you may take an extra day to stay back and look at the college campus, go and visit it, talk to the students, talk to the faculty. No college stops you from entering their campus. They love to have students at the campus. So go ahead, do that journey. Read more, and I cannot emphasize on it. Read more, read more. I would go back saying read more. Anytime you get your hands, can lay your hands on anything, please read it and build all the skills that you can. Every skill that you take with yourself is a value add to yourself. It's going to be very, very important for you in the time to come. How so? How do we choose careers? Simple factors that are there. What factors would we keep in mind when we want to select our careers? So we start, these are the 7 factors that we would look at. We start with skills. Now, skills is something that you can learn. So whatever skills you can learn along your journey would be great. You learned the skill of cycling when you wanted to, when you were young. Probably your parents got you a cycle and you learned it. And now today, if any point of time you sit on a cycle, even after a couple of years, it will be just a matter of 2 minutes before you get the grip of it and you're back on your wheels and you can go anywhere. Skills are like that. Learn it and it comes back to you when you want to start working on it. Now, if I look at it in the last 2 years, many of you learned to type pretty fast on your keyboard. You may have been using one fingers or two fingers to do your typing. Those of you who took the initiative and learned to type with 10 fingers would really have great speed in typing. And you know that your life is going to go using the keyboard. So if you have that skill with you, well, you'll be really good at typing. Yeah, I know that it's advancing, and we also have audio, so you don't need to type. You can record it, what you want to say. Yes, but these are processes which are going to be there. Aptitude is something that all of us have. And we just need to understand what my aptitudes are. So how does one understand that? And to understand that, you need to go through a psychometric assessment. Aptitudes become very, very important. And somewhere your aptitudes reflect in your academic records. But also that our academics is very often rote learning, and it may not necessarily mean that I am good at it. So that becomes very important to understand what are the skill sets that I have. Aptitudes are skill sets that you're born with. What is it that I have? Interests, we all have a wide range of interests. Initially, when you're little babies, it's your mom and dad who has tried to do the exploration by putting you into different sort of activity classes and to see if you develop an interest in maybe drawing, painting, or theater, or music, or sports. So many kinds of things that initially as the parents take the initiative, and then as you grow up, you try and understand what is it that you like, and you go back and say, oh, this is something I want to do, and you nurture it. There are students, who have nurtured Indian classical dance for 8 years, 10 years. Wow, fantastic. Going forward, maybe you can make a career in dance also, because it's an interest area which you nurtured for such a long time. Everything that you've learned becomes very, very important. Your values and motivation. And that's really, really important, because in the real world, when you have to survive, your values is something that is going to stand solid by you. And motivation is something that is going to drive you to perform well when you're doing whatever job you're doing. If it's a job that you like, then you're absolutely motivated every morning, because every morning is a great Monday morning for you. You're going to be having every day fun with what you do. And if you don't like what you do, and if you're not motivated, you will be really upset about it. And that's something I feel very uncomfortable about. That a child is going to get into a career that he doesn't want to get into, because he's not thought through the process, because he's not had an idea of how he could make correct choices, because he's not had the opportunity to do that. And you are privileged. You're having that opportunity to make informed career choices. And that is again something that a psychometric assessment is going to help you with. Now, personality, and each one of us is very unique in our personality. And personality becomes very important with careers also, because there are careers which need certain type of personality. Children feel uncomfortable in certain careers because their personality doesn't match with them. But does that mean that they cannot do that career? No, there are other options also in the same domain. We just need to understand what is it. I was talking to a student yesterday and who said, Ki, I do not like talking to people, but I'm fascinated with the field of journalism. She said, I can never do that because I'm not comfortable talking to people. Now, her idea of journalism was based on something that she had seen on television, where she could see news channel reporters talking to people and in the camera. And we had a serious discussion about how journalism is not only being in the camera with a mic in your hand. That's not the only thing of journalism that is there. There are so many options of journalism where you really will not come in front of anyone's face if you don't want to be there. So your personality says that I don't want to be in front of people, while we'll create you a good career which does not want you to come in front of people. So everything can be done. uh, Network, contacts, all of us have it. And as you grow up in your age and you move through different schools and colleges and professional work, you will have your own network of people. And today, with technology advancing so beautifully, the advantage of network is that you can really reach out and connect to people. And we've seen so many examples where somebody needs some help, somebody needs some questions answered, and you just put it in a group and you get so many answers coming out. You have Telegraph, you have WhatsApp, and there may be something more, much more than that. Well, I'm not aware about it, but whatever I know and I find these platforms very, very useful. Networking happened for a very, very long time. It's just that now networking has become much easier with technological advancements happening. But remember one thing, that if you are expecting the network to help you, you too should be willing to help in the network. Because you may be later on at some point of time in life, at some stage where you can extend a helping hand. Never be backward to do that. Always be willing to help that extend the hand. So if somebody had helped you at some point of time, also knowingly, unknowingly, go ahead and give that helping hand. Now, you guys are a lot on social media platforms, and a lot of things happen over there. So if you could help somebody over there also, somebody may have asked a question on social media platform, go ahead, help it. Your location and access. Location currently has become global. Access to information, most of us would go through the great god Google. But remember, Google does not have all the answers to everything. If Google gave the answers to everything, you would not have doctors practicing medicine. It's the same when it comes to your careers also. It's so sad when children look up something on Google and then come back and say, but ma'am, I read this and this is what it says. I could do this career if I had this. Well, child, there are so many other things that need to be kept in mind when you're making career choices. And one great way to understand how to make these career choices is to have a great psychometric assessment done. And the iDream Career Psychometric Assessment is something that is a certified, verified psychometric assessment. And it's important to note this, that whatever assessment you take, please make sure that it's a certified and verified psychometric assessment, because there are plenty of assessments that are there which are not verified. That means they're random. And you don't want to have a report of a random assessment. You want to have the report of an assessment which is going to tell you the right thing. So the IDC assessment is a certified, verified assessment tool, which you should be looking up and taking the assessment if you feel you want to go ahead and understand where you could really head up. Location. Today, the digital platforms have made access to information and learning also a global phenomenon. At the same time, a lot of students are ready to travel for physical locations also. They're ready to move across this country. They're ready to move across 7 seas. And make choices of what courses they want to follow, where they want to follow. So when there are so many things that have to be looked at when we make a career choice, why is it that only academic reports are looked at? Let's look at careers in a different way. Let's understand that making career choices is not something which is a one parameter, my academic scores. They are an important factor, but along with that, all these factors are equally important. So that is what we need to really look at when we are trying to understand what is the kind of careers that I want to look at. And this is what the IDC psychometric assessment looks at: three factors: aptitude, personality, and interest. And what do we look at when we say aptitude? So we looked at five parameters when we looked at aptitudes. So we look at a student's verbal ability, numerical ability, mechanical ability, reasoning, and spatial. And if you can see here that for every ability, aptitude that is there, we have just listed a career. So if somebody has a good verbal ability, should look at journalism, being a writer, being a lawyer. Numerical ability, maybe finance, IT, actuaries. A good mechanical aptitude, engineering, pilot, navy. Good reasoning, lawyer, sales, research. Good spatial ability, designer, architect, cartographer. Well, if only aptitude was a factor to look at, then based on the verbal ability, you could say that the child could get into this career. But then we are not looking at one factor. There are so many more factors that need to be looked at. We look at personality, and there are five orientations of the personality that we look at. And each orientation has a different meaning to it, which is something that would come to you when your counselor is sitting with you and explaining the report to you, trying to help you understand how this matches with your interest and how this matches with your aptitudes, and how you can make the best career choices with the personality that you have. So we look at interpersonal traits of a person. We look at the emotional attitude of a person. We look at the conscientiousness of a person in the psychometric assessment. When you look at interest areas, we looked at six interest types: people who like to work with their hands, use their physical strength, have what is known as a realistic interest. So what are the careers that would be good for somebody who wants to who has a high realistic interest? Maybe become an engineer, become an architect, or work in the armed forces. Somebody who has a high investigative, surgeon, economist, analyst, or somebody who is creative, is artistic, could become a designer, could become a
फोन नहीं
writer,
उठाया उसने.
could become a PR
How
specialist.
can I check? I
Somebody
can't check.
who has
I'm
a
on a
high
meeting.
social interest uh, should be looking at careers of maybe a teacher, a counselor, a therapist. So for every kind of interest, there is a different kind of a career that we can look at. Now, is that the only one factor that we are going to look at? Well, no, it cannot be. So what do we look at when we do the psychometric assessment? So with understanding all these factors, we look at
Ma'am, can you unmute yourself?
yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, you
Yeah.
are.
Okay. So uh, if a student wants to look at careers only in one factor, well, that's not the correct way to do it. So we need to be able to put these three things together: your aptitude, personality, interest, and a great conversation with a career counselor. That is where you can start looking at the great process of making your career choices. It is a thought through process, not something that I decide randomly. So how do we actually try to do this? And I'm going to just put up a report, sample report here for you to try and understand what is the kind of report that you would get once you have done the assessment with iDream Careers. So just give me a minute. I'm going to just share the screen and put up. Just a minute. So this is a sample. example of a report that is generated when you do the psychometric assessment with iDream Careers, and we talk about what is the report about, and we introduce you to the world of careers. Now, the world of careers is really, really very big. And here we have given you names of 21 career clusters. So when it's a cluster, that means there are multiple options in it. And here you have 21 career clusters, which cover up approximately 500 to 550 careers that we talk about. And that's a lot of careers to explore. So, how do we shortlist it and narrow it down, try and understand what is best for the student? So, here is the aptitude report. Once you've done the assessment, this is how your aptitude report would be. The interpretation of this would be given to you by a counselor when you sit for a meeting with the counselor. That everything is explained over here. So, it is not that even when you get the report in your hand, you'll be able to read through and understand the basic things. The details of it would happen when you have a counseling session. This is the personality part of the report, and here are the 5 orientations of personality that we look at. And this is what we talk about in the personality section, again, which is explained by, discussed by the counselor when you're sitting for a personal interaction with the counselor. Going forward, we look at interest areas, and these are the various interest types that we spoke about. And here the interest profile is highlighted, again explained further to you. Coming forward to your career fitment analysis, which is on the basis of your aptitude, personality, and interest. And here we give a top 10 careers which would be best suited for you. And then we go forward to try and understand what is it that is best suited for the child. So this is a quick glimpse to the report that iDream Career generates after a student has taken an assessment test. And once the assessment test report has come, the student has had an interaction with the counselor, that is where the thought process starts getting a little more serious. Because now the student understands the importance of everything that is being discussed by the counselor when they have this meeting with them. Going forward to what happens after we have had this assessment with this and the report that is generated, we'd look at a quick way to how to make choices in 11th standard about the subjects. So some thought process, or some people tend to think about things in this way, saying, if it's a subject that you love, you may want to take it. Well, fair enough, absolutely right. It's a subject that you love. How do you know that you love that subject? Because that's the subject you pick up to study every time you sit down to study. The second way of understanding is that you will score well in that subject because you love it. You just, first book that you will pick up is the subject that you love. You will do really, really well in that subject. So that's one way that students decide how they want to pick up their subjects. Another is that the subjects that keep their dream job open. A lot of students have given some thought to what kind of job they would want to do, and they have a decent idea of what subject is going to help them get that job. So then they look up those subjects and they select those subjects because that's the subject they want to study going forward in standard 11th and 12th and then into professional careers. So that is another way of choosing subjects in grade 11. And another way is to do a little more research and understand that which college or university I want to get into and what are the subjects that are taught over there which are really good. And since I want to go to that university, I would want to study this subject, and that's the reason I will take this subject. So different ways that students have of looking at subject selection, and all of them are right. There is nothing wrong to say that any of this process is wrong. All of them are right. Each one goes through their own process and journey of how they want to make this choice. Sometimes the choices don't match because the process is not thought through comfortably and completely. Because honestly, at the age of 16 and 18, how much information do you have to be able to make such decisions? And that is where the support of a career counselor comes to help, because that's somebody who would be able to understand what is it that you're looking at and guide you to the process of making that choice, helping you get into a proper university which would nurture the choice that you want to make in the correct way. So that is where it becomes important when you are making these subject choices to think through the process. And why are these subject choices also important? So if we look at the very popular subject combinations that you would have in a CBSE or an ICSE or a state board, uh, ICSC has this thing that at the end of grade 8, the students have to make a choice of, uh, taking, they have an option of they could drop their sciences and take commerce. And some schools also give the option that you could drop your mathematics and you could continue with subjects which are other subjects, not mathematics. But maths is a subject that is going to be important in life for whatever you do. It would be sensible to continue your mathematics standard 10 and if possible up to standard 12, because a lot of competitive examinations going forward are going to have mathematics. So even if the choice is there, it would be, think through it whether you really want to drop your maths from ninth grade onwards. Lot of options will change for you once you get into trying to get admission into colleges after 12th grade. Now, for other boards, which is state board and CBSE, there is no such choice at the end of 10th. Up to 10th grade, you will be studying all the subjects. It will be your English, your languages, it will be your social sciences, mathematics, and science. You will have an exposure to all these subjects. Then it's in 11th standard that your subject combinations will come into force, where if you're looking at science, you would have a physics, chemistry, maths, or a physics, chemistry, biology, which you can be taking. Then the school offers a wide range of optional subjects. The CBSE board by itself, I think, offers nothing less than 75 options that a child can take as an optional subject. But the schools have a limitation as to how many subjects they would be offering. So depending school to school, that choice of subjects is there. Depending on what you want to take, those choices have to be made. If you're looking at commerce, a language would be compulsory, then accounts would be compulsory, economics, business studies would be compulsory. Then you would have subjects like maths, which is optional, or entrepreneurship, which is optional. And there are more than these options which are there. Why, how, what should I take is something that think through it. English for humanities would be compulsory. For humanities, lots of options are there. Colleges have or schools have a preferred subject combination which they offer. So the very common combination is political science, sociology, history, psychology. Psych you have a geography, you have an elective English, you could have another second language. So many kind of options that you can select on. So when you come with so much of options, it becomes a little challenging as to how and why and what should I be taking, what would be the outcome of these subjects that I'm going to take. And that is why optional subjects is something that we have to think a lot. How do you select the correct optional subject? So first of all, let's avoid selecting subjects randomly or because they seem to be easy. One of the most common subjects that children come back saying is physical education in standard 11th and 12th. And is there a reason why you're taking physical education? Well, think about it. Why would you want to take physical education? And the very common reason that comes to us is that, the other subjects that I'm taking are tough subjects, and this is a lighter subject that may make my things a little easier. Well, for all the optional subjects that are there, it would be very, very sensible to look up the syllabus of every optional subject that you want to take. The syllabus is available, it's there on the websites. Please see what is it that I would be studying when I'm choosing this subject as an optional subject. Why? Because this optional subject, maybe it would allow you to pursue a creative interest. It could also create a wonderful backup plan for you. So, we had a student who was preparing for a competitive examination, and a couple of months before the exam, she decided she didn't want to do that competitive exam, had prepared 2 years for it, and then said, I don't want to do it. And when I asked her, what is it that you want to do? So she had taken psychology as her subject, optional subject in grade 11th and 12th. And she says, I would love to do my master's in psychology and I would not want to pursue with the competitive examination. Now, because she had a thought through process of the optional subject that she wants to take. When it came to a point where she did not want to do the competitive examinations, and for whatever reasons, she had a great subject as a backup option. So, well, she made the choice and she's doing brilliantly. Now, looking forward, that interdisciplinary learning is going to be the norm for education. Having a different combination of subjects also opens that choice of interdisciplinary learning for you. Because if you've come with some learning of a particular subject, going forward, it becomes easier for you. Was interacting with a group of students, and it was a group of students who all of them kept saying that they were going to appear for engineering entrance exam, and they were really focused and working towards it till at a certain point of time, a couple of them came back saying, no, I don't think I want to pursue engineering. I would want to study geography in detail. And when we discussed about it and tried to understand why this geography, why suddenly this interest in geography had come, and it was that they had spoken to people, they had read about it, researched about it, and they felt that there were excellent opportunities if they had studied geography also. Well, yes, there are plenty of exciting opportunities in every career, every subject that you study. So, well, thought through processes, and because they had that subject in 11th and 12th with them, they could go ahead and study it for their undergraduation. They can go ahead and do their master, whatever further study they want to do, they can go ahead and do it. So please be very mindful and think through the options that you want, the school or college is giving you for the optional subjects that you want to take, and then make your choices. Manage the stress of your core subjects. That's the reason that many students give that I want to take something like physical education. Look up the syllabus of physical education. It's not something that comes very, very comfortably to everyone. So make that choice, think through it. There has to be a thought process behind every subject that you choose. It is your career. Don't make random choices. Don't go on somebody else saying it is easy. It may have been easy for somebody else. Does not mean it's going to be easy for everyone. Maybe that somebody else had a thought process behind why I'm taking this subject. There may have been some discussions about it, and hence they may have taken that subject. You need to understand for yourself, why am I making this choice? It's so sad, when you're talking to students who are filling up forms for competitive examinations, and you realize, oh, I don't have this subject, so I'm not going to get. Some colleges would not let you appear for the entrance exam because you don't have a particular subject. Some colleges will not give you the best campus because you do not have the particular subject. So, so many permutations and combinations that work out of it. And that's the reason you need to have a discussion with somebody who would be able to help you with that. Somebody who has better insights into how all your subjects are going to take you to your dream career and to your dream job after that. So this process of selecting optional subjects is not a random process. Keep in mind that many schools also give you the opportunity or option of, the school does not offer the subject to you, but they let you study on your own, and they let you appear for that examination from that school. Maybe you want to talk to the school about that. There are so many schools which let the students do that. We don't have the facility of a teacher for this subject that you want to study. They let you study on your own. That means you need to get your teacher, you need to study on your own, and you can appear from the school for that examination. Well, great if it works for you. But go ahead and ask. Don't make the mistake of just blindly taking what you need. If you ask, you will find the solution to it. So that is where it becomes very, very important to understand the subject combinations. And when we look at it, just a quick glance and overview as to what kind of careers will happen if I have these kind of subjects with me. So the first one says that you could be in any stream, art, science, commerce, anyone, but you have maths as a subject that you're studying. And the kind of careers that you can look at is actuarial science and economist. You could get into planning, you could get into programming, data analytics, financial engineering, statistician, cryptology, and these are just few of the careers that are mentioned over here. In all this, these are only a few careers that are mentioned over here. And if you look at the next one, which says physics, chemistry, and mathematics, So engineering, everyone knows. If I'm taking PCM, engineering is what everybody would conclude that I'm going to get into. But maybe the student wants to study architecture or get into merchant navy or think of the Indian Air Force and the Indian Navy or study astrophysics, pilot, computer science, machine learning, biotechnology, forest services, food technology, pharmacology, forensic science, nanotechnology, agriculture. Wow, so many options with physics, chemistry, maths. Think beyond engineering, so much more that you can do. And physics, chemistry, biology, yes, first ones, MBBS, dentistry, veterinary science, everybody knows. Allied medical science, such a big vertical of allied medical sciences. And there is such a huge need of well qualified people from the space of allied medical sciences. Think it through. Agriculture, a country like India, which is agriculture based, excellent careers in the space of agriculture, zoology, biotechnology, nutrition, and home science. Such a beautiful space to be. And it's the pandemic which has made us so conscious about our health, so conscious about good eating. All that is there in this space of nutrition and home science. Anybody thinking of nutrition and home science, and your school is offering you uh, home science in grade 11th and 12th, please take it. It's a great subject to take up if you're looking at nutrition and home science. A lot of colleges prefer students who have taken home science in grade 11th and 12th for the course of nutrition and dietitian going further. Food technology, pharmacology, nanotechnology. So nanotechnology, if you see, you can do with maths and you can do with bio. Agriculture, you can do with maths and bio. Pharmacology, maths and bio. So there are some of these which have a common this thing that you could have done a PCM or a PCB and you can get into. And there are some careers which are law, humanities based and open to all streams also. So psychology, anthropology, psephology, sociology, archaeology, these are all humanities based. Political science, public policy, it is getting so popular with students, political science and public policy, and not for the reason that the students want to get into the civil services. Public policy by itself is getting so much importance now that students are investing in studying it for 3 years at their undergraduation, 2 years at their master's program. So look at these kind of courses, and courses which are open to students from all streams. So you have a design career which is open for all stream, law, business management, mass communication, performing arts, Indian Army, chartered accountancy, historical consultant, getting into academics, all excellent careers that are there. So when you say design, there are students who only tend to think of that fashion designing is the only thing that is there. There is so much more in the design segment than fashion designing. I was talking to a student the other day who is brilliantly creative, brilliant, very, very creative. But I mean, didn't know of anything that could happen in the design space. And the moment we started the conversation, and I was like, okay, so you can, do you know that you can actually get into an IIT with design? And she looked at me like, I had, what told her what, and like, what happened? So she said, no, I really didn't know that IIT teaches design. I said, well, IIT teaches design. Now you don't know. And do you know that IIT also teaches humanities? IIT Chennai has a wonderful course in humanities. So please gather the knowledge, get the information before you make the choices. So important to do that. I hope I've been able to help you understand that your subjects are something that is in your hand. You can make those choices before you step into it. How would you do that? Read the syllabus of the subject that you want to get into. In fact, I would say that you should actually read the syllabus of every subject that you're going to study, especially students who want to get into the commerce stream, because regular school does not introduce commerce to you up to 10th grade. And many children get into commerce thinking it is easy. Just go through the syllabus of standard 11th and 12th to understand what commerce is about. Do that for any and every subject that you feel you want to study in grade 11. Talk to the seniors. They're the people who are doing it. They'd be able to tell you what is their experience, what are the subjects, how are they liking it. They're maybe 1 year, 2 years, 2 years seniors to you. You can connect well with them. These are some of the ways in which you can gather information and make your decisions about it. You also would have the support of a career counselor. or an IDC career counselor would really be able to help you in a big way in how these choices can be done. So the support system is there. Extend your hand to it. No, you're a student, and that's the reason you need that support system. So please go ahead and take that support that is there. So that is perfectly all right. Now, just quickly coming to the choosing the right stream after 10 can be confusing. Take guidance from an expert career counselor. And all these careers that we talk about, where will you get the information about it? Where would I understand where to gather this information? So a quick run through the IDC platform, where for those of you who are not aware about it, just let me show you what the IDC platform is about and how you can actually gather the information over there. So this is the iDream Career platform, and you have four verticals here, which says Explore Career, College Directory, Exam Directory, Scholarships and Competitions. And Explore Career is where you would start your exploration. The 21 career clusters that are mentioned in the report are the same 21 blue boxes here. And if you want to know about any career and you know in which cluster it is, you just click on it. So anybody who says engineering, you just click on engineering and you'll be able to see the options for engineering and read through in detail about each one of it. Or you're looking at humanities and liberal arts, and these are the options that are there in humanities and liberal arts. And supposing you say that I would want to study to become a psychologist, each article that is given over here is curated for our platform. It is not a copy paste from Google. So do not even try for searching for it on Google. Always open the link that says read full career article, and the filters on the left hand side will tell you what the article is about. What will you do? What are the work activities that you would do? Are there any specializations in this career? How do I get into it? That is what should be important to you at this point of time. What is the educational requirement? Minimum education, maximum education? What are the specializations? Colleges that I can study, entrance exams that are there, find scholarships. What are the job opportunities? It's a very important question. Everybody wants to know what will kind of jobs I will get after I finish the course. What are the competencies? And this is something that is very, very important for you guys to understand. Competencies are skill sets beyond our academics. So if I know what competencies I'm going to need, I will start nurturing them. But if I don't know, I really don't know. And I would be at a loss at the end of finishing my college, because somebody who has worked on the competencies would always be a preferred person for a job position. What is the kind of money I will earn? Very important. Is there a career growth for this particular career? What are the future prospects? And a unique feature on the IDC platform, is it for specially able people also? These career information is something that is absolutely brilliant, and anybody who wants to look at careers should invest some time in reading this career information, because it makes things much easier for you. So when you say art and design, these are the options in art and design. So in case you don't know in which career cluster a particular career comes, you may want to put it over here. And so if I want to know what a course of actuary is about, I just type it here, it pops up, I can click on it and it will take me to the career of an actuary. Here we're talking about actuary, it comes in the vertical of business management. So this was a quick snapshot run through the platform of iDream Career. It's a very detailed platform. Please spend some time in reading through it so that you can get the best of what is given up over there. Continuing with career guidance, experts are there to help you. Please take all the support that you can. It's important for you to have this support at this point of time. And what is it that iDream Career offers for you students? So we have two programs that we offer for students, giving you a little bit of insights into this program, where you have a stream selection program, which is for school students. And it's a program where you have a psychometric assessment, you have a personal career report, you will have two counseling sessions with the experts, you will have access to 1 year of live weekly career classes, and you have access to the dashboard. Now, here it helps students who have done their own research, have a decent amount of clarity of what they want to do, but they would just like to get the support of a guidance program to help them understand, am I going in the right direction, and the valuable inputs that a career counselor can add to them. So I've come across this student who, was very clear, this is what I want to do, this is the plan that I have made. He just wanted to make sure this plan that I have decided, is it a workable plan for me? Do I have that in me that I'll be able to take it through? Am I making the right choices? So we sat and had a discussion in the first session where we discussed about his report, told him how to, explore through the dashboard, look at careers beyond what he was thinking about, research on the dashboard for what it is, list your questions. And the second time we met up, we could actually fine tune it to saying, yes, this is what it is. This is what you should be considering as subjects for your standard 11th and 12th. These are the kind of entrance exams you should be preparing. And this is going to be the way forward. This is your backup plan also. And that is something that's absolutely important for every student, a backup plan. Most students do not think of a backup plan. And if you've not done that, very often you will realize that you're sitting at that stage, or a student is sitting at that stage where 12th grade results are out, entrance exam results are out, and we've not done a great job in the entrance exam. So we're not going to get into the best college. Then what? But if you have a backup plan put in place, you are not going to think through. You're just going to get into the plan B and get moving ahead. That is where a career counselor guides you through, makes sure that you are walking the right way. And we have the second option, which is a college guidance program, where we start with the stream selection, help with career guide, college application process. You would, through the 3 years or 4 years that you would be taking up the program with us, depending on which class you join up with our program. You can join in as early as 9th grade, you can join up as 10th grade, you can join it at 11th standard, depending on, which year you are when you join up with us. You will have that many sessions which are divided over that period of time. So it's a fixed program where every year you'll be having that many sessions. You will have access to weekly career class. Dashboard is something that you will have to. So I was talking to a student who came to me in 11th grade before she could join in 11th grade. And we were listing her subjects. And this was a student who, had a creative mindset. And we were very, very seriously thinking about looking up creative subjects when she was taking on, and a student of humanities. Then something she said, she said, no, ma'am, I don't think I would want to take a creative subject in the school. I would like to take nutrition and science in the school. My creative, I can do it outside. And I was quite puzzled at that time as to why this child is not taking an option that the school is giving. We had a lot of discussion over the period of time, and she was doing well in school. Her 11th standard went well. When it came to 12th grade and we started looking at colleges and college admissions, and somewhere, I found that she was very hesitant of applying to design schools. So I probed a little more and asked her, I said, what is it? You are really very good at that. In 11th grade, you did not take up that subject. And now also you're really hesitant to take that up. And by that point, we had actually had a very good relationship that was developed. And then she opened up and she told me very honestly, ma'am, I don't think I can afford, my mother can afford the education of a design school if I do not get into an NIFT or an NID. Well, honest, that was surely appreciated. And then we looked at other options, and the subject of nutrition that she had taken was something that came to her rescue when she got admission. So she took admission in Delhi University for a course, which is nutrition and entrepreneurship. And such a lovely combination of subjects that she's having over there. Now, when she was taking this nutrition and dietitian, we were looking at getting into nutrition and dietitian as a course later on. But the moment nutrition and dietitian and entrepreneurship came up as an option for her, when we did our research for the colleges that she was looking at, this was something that just fitted perfectly for her. So over a period of 2 years, we've had these interactions happening. And, generally, I think we end up becoming a part of the family because we are helping and making child make informed choices about the colleges. So this process goes on. And at the end of it, what is the most satisfying thing is that the student has got into a career which she wants, which she makes her get into a dream career and a dream job that she's looking at. So it makes sense to reach out to a career counselor, take up a long-term program, because they are updated, they have the information, and they would guide you through the process that you need to go through. So if you want to reach out to a career counselor, the details are there on the screen. You can call up or you can send a mail. So psychometric assessment is something that is there. You have a career fitment report after that for you. You would get an individual counseling session. There is no mass counseling that happens at iDream Career. Every session is an individual counseling session, and an action plan would be put in place for you. So if you haven't taken up the option of career counseling till now, take it up. It's something that you would do for yourself, which would help you make informed choices of what you want to do later in life. That's it from my end. Open to question and answers.
Thank you, ma'am. That was a very detailed and informative session. And I'm sure all of our viewers benefited from it greatly. So there were a couple of questions, but I think you've answered them in the course of the session.
Okay.
So do we have any more questions? Please, now is the time. You can drop a message in the chat box. We don't seem to have any questions. And all right, then we'll be ending the live. And once again, thank you so much, ma'am, for the wonderful session. Thank you to all of our viewers for joining us today. We do these weekly career classes every week, Saturday at 4 p.m. And we would love for you to join the session. And also, we'd encourage you to share this with your students if you're a counselor or someone whom you think might benefit from this session. Thank you all and see you next time. Bye.